Camtasia 2021 released earlier this week. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the new features that I know I'm going to be using in Camtasia 2021, and I think others will find beneficial as well. Let's take a look. The first thing I want to demonstrate is all the new transitions you can do in Camtasia 2021. There are a ton of new additions. I don't have time to go through them all, but a lot of them are much more dynamic than the ones that were there previously. So the three that I want to highlight are this one here. That is called a paint swipe. Really cool. The next one I'm going to show is called a cross zoom, and it looks like this. So if you're familiar with what we had available in previous versions of Camtasia, stuff like this is way more dynamic and is a much welcomed improvement. This one is called glass triangles. I love that one. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that from other people as well. A really cool transition. The next new feature I want to talk about is it's a visual effect that you can apply to things like animations. It's called motion blur. So if I had a shape and I wanted to bring that onto the stage of the video like that, I could do so with an animation. Now I also have the ability, I can drop a motion blur effect on that, and I get a nice little blur effect, and it gives it that nice touch, and that's considered a motion blur visual effect. And here you can compare the two side by side. On the top we have no motion blur, and on the bottom we do have it. And if we stop in the middle there, you can see it's got the blurring on the edges to give it that nice effect. Really nice touch, and it's something that I think will make creating motion graphics and animations in Camtasia just a little bit easier, and can make your videos a little bit more robust if you're going that route. The next thing I want to talk about is an audio effect that's been added in Camtasia 2021. It's called emphasize. So now a common thing that you have in videos is you have a music clip here at the bottom, and then you want to add your vocals on top of that. For a few seconds, you'll want the music to come in, and then you'll want it to fade, not all the way out, but you just want it to maybe go down to like 20% while the voiceover takes over. And that was something you could do either in other audio editing tools, or you could actually do that in Camtasia, but it would take a while because you'd have to come in onto the audio clip and add a bunch of points so that you could manually adjust when the audio comes up and down like that. So not difficult, but kind of a pain to have to do yourself, something like that. If I undo all that, we don't have to worry about that anymore because we have this emphasize audio effect that we can drag onto the clip that we want to emphasize over the other one. If we were pretending that this was a voiceover clip, then that's what would be happening there. And with so many things in Camtasia, over here on the properties window, we have the ability to adjust the settings for these. So we can adjust just how much it's emphasized. So if it's 80%, that means the music below it or any other audio clips that would be present would be reduced to about 20%, I believe is how that works. You can change how it's ramped up and the duration of how long it takes to ramp in and ramp out. It's very cool now that we can do what's referred to as audio ducking in Camtasia 2021 without having to leave the tool or do anything manual. The next thing I want to talk about is rounded corners. This is a handy thing that you can add to things like webcam video clips. So previously, if you recorded yourself on webcam, you had the ability to adjust that, move it around, resize it. But to my knowledge, there was no simple way to round these corners or do anything interesting to just give it a little bit more character than that square picture-in-picture look. But with with corner rounding, when we add that, right away there's nothing there, but if we go to the properties, we can adjust that to give it some rounded corners, and we can really go extreme with that, obviously. And you also have the ability to choose which corners are included in that. Really cool settings there. so that when you're done, you have this ability to add rounded corners like that, as I'm demonstrating. Another new thing worth mentioning in Camtasia 2021 is this new user interface for when you first open the program, this Get Started screen. It's a lot cleaner. I didn't think the old one was really that bad, but seeing this new one, it really stands out. You can do everything you could do previously, but now it has the option to start from a template, start a new project from a template, which is always nice. And then, of course, as always, you can have the ability to just start recording, and that's how you begin a project. And that as well has the user interface updated to it. What I like about this is everything is nice and big now. You can see what's happening. Now I can't show my any of my webcams right now because they're being taken by the tool that I'm recording this video with, but if I wasn't, you could see that my webcam or whatever camera I'm using, when toggled on, would display right there nice and big, and I can see that it's using the source that I want it to. Same thing with the screen. We can see now the screen or the region that we want to record. Very nice. And yes, both my audios. So do I want to record my system audio? If so, I toggle that on and I can see if there's something running in the background that it's working. Same with my microphone. It's working right now. You can see it moving. And I just love this interface. It's nice and clean. You can hit record and start. And now the final new feature I want to talk about in Camtasia 2021 is the ability to create a standalone project. Now, previously, when you created a project in Camtasia, that project file was very small. Everything you brought into it, all the different assets, your video, your audio, pictures, things like that, would show up in your media bin as if they were all in your project file, but in actuality, they were still just being referenced. So they didn't actually save with the project file itself. Now you have the ability to check this, and everything you bring in saves into that one spot, which is really nice. And it makes collaborating with others, working with Camtasia, that much easier, and moving and sharing files around and making sure you're not losing connections to maybe some different media assets that you didn't have all in the same place. So there you have it. Those are just a few of the interesting new features available in Camtasia 2021 that I wanted to go over in this video. There are plenty more. I encourage you to check it out for yourself. You can download a free trial over at techsmith.com. And as always, if you're learning Camtasia, there are tons of great learning resources and videos out there. Techsmith has an entire academy, they call it, of learning resources. So check that out. And if you found this valuable, of course, you've been to YouTube before, you know how this works. I'm going to ask you to like this video and consider subscribing to my channel so you can be notified of when I release good content. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video.